Appreciate you showing up today, guys. We're going to talk about school culture and how it affects our school, not just in the classroom, but outside the classroom as well. But before we get started, let's have a word of prayer. Let's pray. Lord, I thank you for this day. I thank you for just the time that we can come together and meet and talk about our school, Father, and ways to improve our school. Just be with us now. We ask all these things in your precious name. Amen. Before we get started, I want you to team up with the persons closer to you. So guys, you can just team up with each other front and back. And you know each other to a certain degree, but do you really, really know each other? And I want you to ask 3 questions, and I can give you 3 questions, but you can go on 3 on your own. I was going to have age, but we don't have to do age. I know ladies get really bothered about age. I can't believe you asked about the age. But I want you to tell the high school that you graduated from, the school that you graduated from, your favorite hobby, and your best moment as a teacher. Up to now, the best moment or what you can think of as a highlight of being a teacher, what it is. Okay? Go ahead. Seconds.
Exactly. I understand what.
Cool. Okay. Real quick. Mark, do you remember Don, where he graduated from?
No.
You don't? Okay. What about his best moment as a teacher? What about his best moment as a teacher?
For him, it was in the leadership classes he teaches, and just so they're able to use that in practical life situations as they graduate.
Absolutely. Leadership class, cool. Absolutely. Because many times they come back to you and say, thank you for teaching this, or remember this.
That's what happened 2 days ago.
Oh, did it?
It wasn't actually leadership, it was from philosophy, when I taught philosophy, but, yeah.
But they came back and gave you, that's always encouraging as teachers when you have somebody coming back and affirming
They remember something.
what you poured into them, absolutely.
It was a Christian school though.
Okay.
That went to.
Yeah.
What about Mark's? What about Mark as far as school he graduated from? I think I know that one.
Middleburg High School.
Yeah, okay. Middleburg High School, and highlights of him teaching and coaching here.
He said it was last year with the seniors, because first year in this school, he got to be a senior sponsor. He had to retreat and getting to know the kids and really getting to interact with them on
Okay.
a one-on-one level.
Absolutely, good deal, good deal. Pierce, would you?
He graduated from Nashville East. His hobbies include, he used to.
I wouldn't, by the way, I wouldn't have known that. I wouldn't have known that just by what he's wearing. I wouldn't know that.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
it used to be bowling, but he thinks it's changing over to golf now. He also likes cooking, and his favorite teaching moment was actually similar, he said, with the leadership class, finding out that
Cool.
teaching that. So.
Absolutely, absolutely, good.
He graduated from high school in Millington, Tennessee, which I know Millington because.
Did you guys know that?
No, I was in
Previously?
the Navy. They
Yeah,
changed
that little NSA.
maps. Maps moved to Millington from DC.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
he graduated from Hardage.
It was
Christian
Faith Heritage.
Faith Heritage in Millington, Tennessee.
But that's as far as we got.
Yes, as far as
He
we got,
talked
because
the
I
whole
sucked
time.
up. I sucked up all the time frame.
Okay, well, I'm glad we got to do that, guys, and as we think about this, we want to make teacher meetings, we want to make, anytime that we meet together, an environment that it's open, it's fun, it's serious to a point, but it's, you can collaborate with your teachers and other teammates, so to speak. And that's what we want to create in our school with a learning environment. We want to have a culture that has an open learning environment and also fosters and encourages other students. So the last few months, I've been doing some research and been studying school culture. And today we're gonna just take a few minutes to talk about school culture. And before we get started with the school culture, I've got a quick survey that I want you to fill out. It should only take a minute or so. A quick survey that talks about school culture and what your view is and what your opinion is as you look at our school today. You guys are finishing up, we're probably gonna focus on just two letters, letter A and letter F, if you're looking at that. And the first one is, it says, students in this school respect each other's differences, for example, would it be gender, race, culture, and I want what you put down. Does students in our school respect each other's differences? Do you agree with that, or do you strongly disagree with that?
I generally agree, but at the same time, there are students and situations come to mind I'm aware of where that isn't happening.
Right.
I mean, there are exceptions, but I think generally.
And so you're saying it's a totality,
Mhm.
and it's a large part. Good. Mark, what do you?
I would probably go towards neutral, because I think it just depends on the situation and the student you're dealing with. There's some kids that are definitely, I would say so, there's definitely some that are definitely not. So I'm kinda in the neutral
So
area.
you're neutral right in the middle,
Right.
okay.
I put neutral because I've been around, I've seen, some students that will, some students that won't, and generally, you have pockets that stay within themselves, and they don't leave out of that pocket, so the thing of not so much socializing together to find out about each other.
Good. And I think you've got, and you, coming from a dean of student standpoint, you've got a pretty decent pulse on what's taking place. Unfortunately, sometimes you see the problems that come up as well, for sure.
I just put forward, I agree, just from what I've been able to see, I'm kind of in my little corner over there, but
Right.
from what I've seen from there, it seems like everybody generally does seem to respect differences.
And so when you think of musicians, everybody being in a band.
Kind of have a common goal.
Right, they have a common goal, so that's definitely a commonality that they have
Yeah.
in focus there. Well, good. The next one, I've kind of rephrased number F is this, or letter F is this. The school, the classmates and others get involved in extracurricular activities. The school and each other classmates and others, they get involved in extracurricular activities. How would you say? Do you agree? The fact that we get involved, students get involved in extracurricular activities?
Yeah, I agree they do. I have a lot of discussions being in the guidance area. A lot of discussions I have with students, and maybe these are the more motivated ones to do more things, get involved. Sometimes my discussion with them is deciding what not to be involved in. They wanna do 5 things, and they really only can do 2 or 3 effectively, and so they have to make some decisions. But what I see is a lot of opportunity to get involved in extracurricular.
Absolutely. So and think of, being a guidance counselor, you're trying to hone in on, okay, you want to do all these different things, but scholastically, you can only really afford to do this with your GPA or whatever it might be, to focus in on that. Good. Absolutely.
I would probably say agree, but I also would say it depends on the home setting, because I think what I've observed that, more from an athletic point of view, with PE and with other sports too, is that there's probably more kids that would wanna get involved, whether they're athletically enough talented to play that sport, but a lot of times it's home situations where they're not able to participate, in that particular,
Right, where
sport.
they can be involved in that.
Right.
I can say, I'll say I agree, and to me, it's kinda like a mix of both of those, because depending on what extracurricular you're talking about. Now, if it's an extracurricular dealing with maybe Beta Club or National Honor Society, or something of that nature, you have students that are ready to jump on board, okay, because of that, okay? You have guys that are athletes, or young ladies that are athletes that want to get into that sport. They do it too, but at the same time, you have their classmates that are doing one thing that talk them into doing something else, or
Right.
not wanting to do this. And then you have those that just figure they're just gonna wait because they don't want to, and then when, like I say, you have those people that try to talk them into get into those extracurricular activities. It does deal, some of it with the home setting, and, generally, can they not just afford to do it, but can they do it because they maybe don't have a ride, or they do have a ride, or, what goes home? Are they taking care of a little brother or little sister, which might enable them not to be able to get into that?
And it's amazing the peer influence of their peers, how much of an influence and impact they have in swaying them, pushing them towards a better club, or pushing them towards grades or sports, whatever that might be. I don't think we take that into account enough. Go ahead. Pierce.
I agree, I mean, again, from my corner, it's like either, as soon as school's out, I've either got people bothering me to practice in the practice rooms, or we're doing extra band practices, or we've got drumline, or if they're not there, it's because they're somewhere
They're
else.
somewhere else doing
Yeah,
something
so
else.
it seems like, at least, you know, in my corner of the world,
Okay.
they're all pretty involved and stuff.
Okay, good deal, good deal. I appreciate that, guys. Now, as you think about this, when you think of school culture, what are the first words that come to mind when you think of the word school culture? What are some of the first words that just pop out?
Mr. Moore.
Mr. Moore, okay. He will set the tone for sure.
Right, exactly.
For sure.
Attitude,
Attitude,
personally.
absolutely, attitude. What else?
I think, for a good amount of students, the position they're in, are they seniors, are they freshmen? Do they feel like they're comfortable already with the school? What are some of the things that they've done before? So, I mean,
Okay.
to me, I think it's.
Attitude, position they're in, whether, what level of school year they're at, and new students.
Where they fit.
Absolutely, where they're trying to fit in.
They're always trying to figure that out, too.
Exactly.
What else? What do you think about when you think of the word school culture? Somebody says the term or phrase school culture. Definitely an attitude for sure. Students are always trying to fit in to see where they fit in the Richter scale, so to speak, or the totem pole.
Yeah, the other thing's gonna remind me are just the intangibles, because your culture is you could put all the pieces in place, you know, as far as classrooms and facilities and qualified professionals and all that. That's not the culture, those are the pieces. But it's those intangibles, it's how people feel about where they are,
Right.
and whether they feel
Is there-
comfortable and.
Is there
and,
joy going?
Yeah, it's,
Is it
you
not?
know, yeah, because when you have good culture or a poor culture in a school, it's usually about how people think about where they are. So that's those intangibles, I don't know if I can name all those.
And I don't know if you guys remember, a few weeks ago, we broke up the students into different groups. The juniors and seniors were together, and as we broke them up, I thought to myself, and I was able to meet with the juniors and seniors and speak with them, the spiritual culture of our school, it changes, not necessarily dependent upon the adults, and we can pray for students, encourage students, there's no doubt, but at some point, they have to take ownership themselves to make a change here at our school, and that's what I was trying to get through, and I think a few juniors and seniors are getting together and working together as far as praying and getting together before school starts. They're on